Robservations with Meyer Burnett.
You know, I got to tell you, there's sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I find myself longing, yearning to go back to the movie theaters. It's now been a full-on year, more than 365 days since I've been into a movie theater. And it's becoming increasingly more apparent to me that how much, this longing, this unfulfilled, I didn't really have a midlife crisis. Maybe that's coming, but I never really had one because for the most part, I've been interested in the same stuff my whole life. Like when I was 12, I would buy action figures. Now I buy Thanos being action figures. Nothing has changed. So the things that I've been in love with my whole life are the same things. And a lot of that has revolved around movie theaters. And it's not about escapism or wanting to be apart from your life, because movies have been my life, both personally and professionally, for a long time. And for me, the best way to see a movie is in the theater. You got to go to a theater. You have to have that experience. And I know, as a lot of people bring up to me all the time, a lot of movie theaters, the presentation is not so good. And the audiences nowadays, everybody thinks they're the star of their own reality show. So whether you're getting texts during a movie or you're talking to your friends or whatever, somehow people think that they're more important than the very movie theater that they're in, or more important than the experience that they're going to have and other people will have. To me, the thing that I love about going to the movie theater is it's the best way to have all the distractions of the rest of the world melt away, and you can actually concentrate more deeply than you can anywhere else on a film, unless you've got some real douchebaggery going on with the audience, people on their phones, people texting. I can't. I wish I could walk around with some kind of a tranquilizer gun that you could shoot at people randomly just to put them asleep for at least the duration of the film that you're watching. I would love that, because I find there's nothing to me more hateful than going into a public exhibition of art and putting yourselves in front of, or if individuals put themselves in front of not only the art, but the patrons that are around them. I almost got into a fight last time I went to the Hollywood Bowl because these people were incessantly talking at a concert of classical music. And that's even more annoying than people talking in movies. But I always wonder, why are you even here? Did you get free tickets from work, which is what it sounded like, and everybody's giggling and carrying on, and people are maybe a little drunk. But I always wonder, where does that come from? What universe did you grow up in thinking going to a classical music concert is something that you want to talk in? I even get annoyed hearing people cough, but I let it go because people sometimes can't help coughing. But the same thing is true to me, or for me, for movies. It's, in a way, it's maybe that's why I've never really had ongoing therapy in my life at any time, because I just go to the movie theater and I feel that it centers me and gives me a sense of zen. And I just feel that of all the things that I know, look, I understand. People have lost their jobs. The world is a mess. I'm understanding that I'm speaking from a place of tremendous privilege. First and foremost, being living in a time where we have movie theaters. If I was born 300 years ago, life would have sucked. I watched Synchronic yesterday. Benson Morehouse, is it Morehouse? The two guys who are directing the Moon Knight series for Marvel. I'm a huge fan of their work. I loved Resolution. I loved Spring. I loved The Endless. And I did quite enjoy Synchronic. And I'll tell you something. The first half of Synchronic was what a spell that movie cast. I was a little, to be honest, I was a little disappointed. I didn't think that the payoff, I thought it came a little too quickly, and I thought that there should have been more of it. But it was, again, one of their movies where the ideas are so intriguing. I really enjoyed them. But I was thinking to myself, man, I would love to have seen this movie in a theater. And I think that I understand. I come from a place of tremendous privilege. We live in the West, being born in an upper middle class family, being rather well educated, and really privileged to do what I've always wanted to do in my life, which was work in the entertainment business and work on films. I've been very lucky to that. So when I say I understand that it's ridiculous to think in the year we've all spent to talk about how much you miss movie theaters. But the fact of the matter is I do miss movie theaters, and it's something that was really important to me, and it's something that has kept me, whenever I was having a bad time in life or something bothered me, I would go to the movies. And it's not exactly, I mean, I understand all that, but it's still, for me personally, not being able to go to the movie theater and the ritual of it, going up to the refreshment stand and getting your soft drink. And I've even liked it since they've made it so you have to go fill your own soft drink and sort of curate your own popcorn. I love that. I love the whole ritual of it. I love finding a seat. Well, now I usually go to the ArcLight, which is assigned seating, which is fine. But even just sitting down, like, I don't like to walk into a movie 2 minutes before it starts. I like to walk into a movie maybe 15 minutes before it starts and sit down and, get situated and move your clothes around so they're totally comfortable, and you just you get planted the way you wanted to be planted, and everything is so comfortable. And when the lights go down and the curtains part, I don't like movie theaters that don't necessarily have curtains. I like seeing curtains. I mean, I'll live with it, but I like it when curtains part. I like going to the big theaters that have that. They're fewer and far between, but I still like it. But the whole thing, and then you get to watch a film, and there's no better way. It doesn't matter what kind of a movie it is. There's no better way to watch a movie than on a big screen, because it's so enveloping and larger than life. And I like seeing close-ups of people's faces 40 feet high, and I like to see images that big, because they dwarf you, and you get literally caught up in them, and the bigger the image, the wider it is, the more it fills your peripheral vision. That's all you see, and it helps you give yourself over entirely to a movie. And I miss that experience, and I miss it almost from I was saying, a therapeutic standpoint, but also for me it also clears the head, clears the mind, because you're focusing so intently. I find that, and I remember things. I mean, when you're watching a movie in a movie theater, I retain things far more than I do when I'm watching them at home. Maybe it's just how I've trained myself psychologically to work. I don't know, but I just find the whole thing, it's just better, And I just really miss. I really miss the whole aspect of it. I don't know, is it ever going to come back? I think it will. I mean, I think ultimately with streaming services and all that look, I'll tell you right away, movie theaters, they want to survive, but I don't think studios really care anymore. I think we live in a world where things are very different now, and these streaming services, certainly I can tell you that the guys at AT&T, they would prefer they own the infrastructure, and they're owning the content. So they have the content, they push through their own infrastructure. They don't want anyone going to the movie theaters. Like, why would they? I understand that, but I think in a way that there's something, the experience of it is worth preserving. And I hope they do. To that end, I don't know if anyone misses it as much as I do. I think a lot of people do, actually. I just think that there are things in our culture that are worth preserving for their own sakes, and I think the movie theater experience is one of those things. And I got a letter that kind of touched on this, and it came to me from John LavVasseur or LavVasseur, John LavVasseur or John LavVasseur. I don't know which. I hope I got it okay. Hello, Rob. As always, feel free to read this letter on the show. First and most importantly, I want to say I finally received my Hot Toys The Child Special Edition full-size thingy. I must say, you're a bad man. I never bought anything like this, and you and your enthusiasm got the best of me. That being said, I must admit it is truly spectacular. Just wonderful detail and craftsmanship, and yes, I did bathe myself in the paint-laden, odoriferous smell-o-rama when I opened the box. But that is not the true purpose of this letter. Personally, I do not think the movie theaters are going to go away. Businesses serve markets, and the product theaters offer is not the same as a streaming service. Let me explain. I, for one, can watch a first-run movie at home and can enjoy it technically as I can in any theater. I have an 85-inch 8K Sony Smart TV. Sweet. And a very high-end Dolby Atmos audio system. Dolby Atmos, I can't even imagine if you have an 85-inch Sony. I hope it's OLED, though. The room is even acoustically treated and tuned. Yo, I want to come to your house. You and I park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay. Even with the lasting and greatest home theater hardware, one thing is missing. One very important thing. The cheers or sniffles of hundreds of others experiencing the story with me. This is the product that movie theaters offer, and it is something only they can provide. The communal experience of movies. There's something deeply visceral on opening day when Thor shows up in Wakanda and yells, "Where is Thanos?" and slams Stormbreaker onto the ground, wiping out a few dozen six-armed space dogs in literally one fell swoop. And then the audience explodes with gleeful, uncontrolled cheers and screams. The excitement level is not only palpable, but completely overwhelming. And it's not the movie doing this, it's the audience. The others around you enhance the experience in a unique and visceral way. That experience is something you cannot get from streaming. So, movie theaters have not had their market taken from them. They serve up a totally irreplaceable product. Unless your living room can hold a couple of hundred people, you're never going to get the experience from anywhere but a theater. You say movie theaters are going the way of the dodo, or the way of the horse and buggy. One could argue this. However, I think this is not the case with movie theaters. When movies first arrived, people said live theater would go away. Didn't happen. Well, think about it. They make more movies based on theater plays, albeit creepy cat people movies. Furthermore, people said movies were gone when TV first arrived, and it became all the rage. Well, that didn't happen. Businesses adapt to market shifts, and the ones that survive are the ones who understand what makes their products unique. Live theater survives because there's something unique about seeing real people create a world right in front of your eyes, in the same room you're sitting in. That's a unique experience. TV brings these other worlds or personal experiences into your living room. That's unique to TV. This is why shows like Duck Dynasty and similar trash get watched, albeit not by this connoisseur. Movie theaters give movie fans a communal experience unavailable anywhere else. Movie theaters will therefore also survive. Consumers want that experience, not just the film. I understand the financial stress huge corporate chains like AMC are facing right now. Sure, they may not make it. After all, those theaters sell candy, food, and cushy seats. The gathering is a means to an end for them. So be it. These big chains have forgotten what they're selling. A gathering place. So while the movie theater industry may change or shift, it will survive. Maybe it will go back to local community theaters. Maybe the studios will take control. The people who produce the movies, the creatives, seem to want theaters to prevail after all. However, it's hard to predict the future and say what form theaters will take. But to speculate that they will be gone entirely is simply not what entertainment history has shown. I mean, heck, no more horse and buggies, yet the American rodeo is as popular as ever. If one wants to speculate, movie theaters will simply change, streaming services notwithstanding. What streaming impacts most is media, like discs. Honestly, It's so much cheaper for studios to release movies without a physical product that costs them money. That's a big part of it. However, you still need to purchase hardware for the current delivery of products. But that's because both discs or hardware are technological delivery systems and not a people product like the theater experience. Seriously, do you really think Woody's Orgasmatron is ever going to replace the real thing? Well, that is another episode of Robservations entirely. It's just a delivery system after all. I think not. If you know someone, a real person, who can give you a good hand... I'm not going to go there, but you get the point. Tell me, Rob, how many Laserdiscs do you also stubbornly own? A lot. I have hundreds. Same for DVDs and now 4K Ultra HDs, and I don't even want to say how many audio CDs, SA CDs, mini discs, yada, 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 so it goes. However, I just bought 96 terabytes of network addressable servers, an actual physical place in my home for me to store movies and audio, whatever the format. My home theater system can access them instantly on my home network. I think people will regret deeply buying movies from online services only to find those services are out of business and shut down and they no longer have access to what they purchased. I keep a blue and white Blockbuster plastic VHS rental case next to my servers just to remind me of their purpose. I can see the future of media and adapt. I always download what I buy. So now instead of racks of discs or tapes, I have a little 12 by 12 by 14-inch box that has all of my movies and audio, along with another identical backup box for redundancy, in the form of network addressable servers. That's where the tech is going. Look forward. I always still have an expensive turntable and vinyl records, but that's because I like the way they sound. I do not watch VHS for the opposite reason. Good man. Oh, so streaming now impacts media, but hasn't that change always been the case with media? As a connoisseur, I must have these things. How I get them is a matter of adapting to what is being offered. Thanks for letting me take your time. John LavVasseur, as in connoisseur. John LavVasseur. Well, John, look, great letter. And you and I do clearly park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay. By the way, if somebody took me to task for that and said it sounded a little weird to them, I assure you it means exactly what it sounds like, that we do park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay because we probably serve on the same ship because we're like-minded individuals. That's what that means. It doesn't mean anything the way other people think it means. It's not like that. It's clean and wholesome. But yeah, okay. So I understand what you're saying. I mean, I really do, and I don't disagree with you. And yeah, I've thought about going server only, but then again, you'd have to put all your movies on the servers, which is something that would, I mean, that proposition is daunting to say the very least, and I would probably still keep the discs. But I understand what you mean. And look, physical media is going away. Sure, it'll dwindle, and maybe for a long time people will hang on to it. But in 20 or 30 years, I don't see movies being something that people collect anymore because they won't need to. There's no reason to, unless people are going to go collect things that are out of print, genre films, which is actually a very real possibility. But, if you still collect movies, remember, for a limited time only, you can get my film, The Hills Run Red, that was directed by Dave Parker that I produced. Remember, you can get it for $14 because love is in the scare. That's right, for Valentine's Day. There's some physical media I know you want. By the way, this is not a Valentine's movie at all. Well, it might be depending on what kind of a person you are, but there you go. $14 at the shoutfactory.com website. Go check it out. But no, I think that you make a lot of valid points, but the problem that I have with movie theaters is so many of them don't provide an optimum audiovisual experience, and the old adage, hell is other people. Unfortunately, there are people that make the movie-going experience supremely unpleasant. I don't like that they do. I'm lucky because I live in Los Angeles and nobody puts up with that, at least in the proper of the city. The further you move out, you see a lot more disruptive people who come into movie theaters. And I've never understood that. Why would you want to go pay money, especially with the prices now, just to talk or text or not experience the film that you've gone to see? But I look, what you were talking about, the collective experience, I totally agree. That's why I go to the movies too. That's why I like experiencing films, with other people. And the whole point is, to me, have that collective experience. That's what we're all looking for. Right now, I long for that. The last time I saw a movie, I went and saw New Mutants at the pop-up drive-in they had at the Rose Bowl. Elizabeth and I went, and that was really the last time. And that was a cool experience. I enjoyed that. But it wasn't like sitting in a comfy chair and the sound wasn't there. You're listening to it through your radio. And I mean, I want to feel it. I want to feel the bass notes, and I want to feel it in my very bones. I think that's a very important thing to have. And I just missed that. But again, we do what we're trained to do, and I think, like you said, you have an 85-inch TV. Nicely done, by the way. I just think that it's inevitable that the experience will go away, because I think people, not as many people, feel the way that we feel. It's the reverence for movies, I think, has sort of been bled out of our culture, unfortunately. And now it's just everything. It's just, there's more and more and more stuff to consume, and nothing is really special, and things don't have staying power unless you're going to see a giant movie like Avengers Endgame. Then it lingers around and everybody goes, and then it becomes a collective experience that people can talk about later, and it is immensely satisfying. I have that video. There's a video. There's many videos, but there's one video of one theater's reaction, these guys reacting to the portals scene in Endgame. And you hear them talking. First of all, the whole time I'm thinking, if they were in my theater, I would have turned around and popped them in the face. But listening to them on video now on YouTube, and you hear how excited they are and the collective experience and what the rest of the crowd was experiencing. And I mean, that was a true, if you were a Marvel movie fan and you grew up with those comic book characters, that sequence, the portals sequence, might very well be one of the most crowd-pleasing sequences in cinema history, if you're a fan of that sort of thing, and I certainly am. And even watching it on that reaction video, and they're playing the scene, but you hear the audio of people responding, you can't help. I tear up. I involuntarily tear up when I watch that scene, because it's just so damn delightful. So, look, I hope the movie-going experience comes back. I really do. I really, really miss it. I feel, other than this Groundhog Day existence we've been having, where one day just melts into the next, and I have to think, what day is it today? Oh, it's Wednesday. And it seemed like it was last Wednesday moments ago. And I feel like, I really do. I feel like I've lost a year of my life. I mean, I've done a lot of things this year. I've certainly accomplished a lot in 2020, but I feel I had no experience of going to the movies. And what happens is that not only the experience of going to the movies, but then the movies that I love so much that I would buy on physical media and watch again and think about and ponder and read about them. That's been something that's been going on in my life since I was literally in single digits, 7, 8, 9. And now this is the first year I haven't had that since I was a very small child, really. And it's such a strange thing. And yes, I know, I'm going to say this again. I understand that this is something, me living where I live and being in the time but it's just, this is an entertainment channel about people, that imagination connoisseurs who love science fiction, fantasy, and horror movies. It's not a political channel. I'm not trying to address people that are starving and the economic depression and all of that. I'm just speaking for this one little aspect in my own life, and I think a lot of people who watch this channel understand what I'm trying to say. I mean, I know there'll be somebody in the YouTube commentary or YouTube channel say like, well, Rob, I mean, these are little problems to have. I get it. Everything is compartmentalized. I mean, I don't expect anybody. It's not, oh, woe is me, but it's just it's been a part of my life for so long, and to lose that part of your life, it's just been kind of a strange thing, because so much of my inner life and my inner monologue, which it never ends, is about movies and movie-related subjects. And to not have that, my inner monologue, there's just not much to say. After I've spoken to you all out there, my inner monologue kind of turns off. There's less and less. It's like it's drying up. It's very strange. But I hope that the movie theaters come back. I really do. I want to have that movie going experience again. As I said, I think any movie, doesn't matter what it is, any movie is enhanced by the movie going experience. And so, John, I hope we can all get back to the theaters soon. I really do. I'd love to hear your Atmos sound system, by the way. So, cool with that.